do you yourself accept responsibility for this recommended defence, Mr. Jones?
It's not my draft, it's my assistant's draft.
Yeah, so it's not signed by you?
It's not signed.
And that's intentional?
Well, it's intentional in the sense that I had other things to do last night.
Yeah, it's not, if that's intentional, I just want to be clear, as a mistake, it's not. So you're asking me to give leave to amend this document?
Well, no, because that, I think, will be controversial. But no point in I agree subject to lordship that issue can dealt with for closing argument.
I see. So now I know it's about, but I haven't given leave to amend.
Well, yes, can I just flag up the practical issue, which is this, one of the factors to be taken into account in relief and forfeiture is the gravity of the breaches on the part of the person in default, which obviously you'll be able to assess now because it's part and parcel of the main claims, but also the disparity in the value of the property forfeited and the damage caused by the breach, which of course is something that nobody's come prepared for. We probably won't have any evidence as to, which makes it all terribly difficult, but as I said, it's just to flag up those submissions and put a marker down because the data will deal with this at the end to the extent we can.
Well, the position is that if I'm not invited to give leave to amend, then the issues remain as they were defined by the unamended version. Those are the issues about which you have to cross-examine.
Yes.
Well, so that if you choose not to cross-examine about new issues raised by, or sought to be raised by the proposed amendment,
I'm not going to be criticised.
You can't be criticised. If you were, if it were to be said that you should have cross-examined about issues raised by the proposed amendments, then it would be necessary to decide now whether I was going to give leave to re-amend.
Well, I would say
that's not pressed, so that
no, the core factual issues in accidentally pleading are ones that are in play.
Well, just to make clear, we said that there are no new facts of those ones amended. So, whilst the core factual is correct, if there are new issues raised or new factual issues raised by amendment, of course it will be open to be criticised as unfair, but if there are existing factual issues in play that have bearing both on, for example, unfairness or on penalty clause or on a mysterious breach, those existing factual issues are not explored adequately in cross-examination, I will be able to say that is prejudice that is not, doesn't arise from the amendment.
Well, just to make it clear, Mr. Brown, if and when an application for leave to amend is made, you will be able to submit, if you wish, that the amendment introduces new factors on which you didn't have the opportunity to cross-examine. If Mr. Dunn says it doesn't introduce any new factors, then he's not prejudiced.
Well, that was my understanding. Shall I presume?
Yeah.
Mr. RELLA, just to pick up a few things that arose from yesterday before moving on to back to page 339, which was the new alcohol policy. Can you tell us what your salary was at Beecher?
My salary in Beecher, Consul Brown, on my 10th year was approximately 23,008 dirhams.
A month?
23,000 dirhams.
And any other benefits?
no family status, but you have flight ticket. On flight ticket, give it with extension of courtesy of the general manager, plus some eventually some bonus coming from, of course, early performance of the restaurant, and some bonus on behalf of Bice Group worldwide, following the expansion of the restaurant chain in Middle East. Plus, sorry if I may add, Council Brown, plus, of course, gratuity, tips.
Yeah. What do you think the tips were?
We may say around between 6,000 to 7,000 dirham, approximately $2,000 on a monthly basis.
That's another. Okay, so I think the dirham equivalent in dollars is £75,000 a year. So $75,000 a year, and you think about $24,000 in tips a year.
35,000, sorry, Council?
The dirham equivalent of the salary is about $75,000 a year, isn't it?
Yes, but we always calculate in dirhams, but
Sorry, and the tips again were about $2,000
around $2,000 month,
24,000.
24,000. Plus, I had early bonus from Hilton that could reach a maximum of $7,000 to $10,000. Plus, I had a monthly incentive from Bice for the value of $1,000 each month. A fixed incentive, monthly.
And salary with Roberto's was, go back to the contract, have a look at B1. We look at the basic salary at page 51 in B1.
Yes.
You doubled your monthly salary, didn't you?
The basic monthly salary of Hilton, Dubai, yes.
And the other benefits you got were the flights. If you look at 7 ticket, that's a subject of this claim.
Right.
And we know that you had the 0.5% incentivization fee, and I think that came about because you were excluded from the tips in the new venture.
There was nothing that was mentioned in this, and for sure it's not been the 0.5% that came out for tips. The 0.5% incentive that I discussed with Mr. Kadri had nothing to do with tips, because the issue of the tips came 4.5 months after the agreement.
Let's just unpack that.
Do you accept that you discussed whether you could take a share of the tips with Mr. Kadri?
I never discussed about tips with Mr. Kadri. I discussed with Mr. Justin Moster.
With Mr. Moster, okay. You discussed whether you could take a share of the tips.
I didn't need to discuss. There was a list. We're talking about March 2013 on Council Brown. We're talking about a list that probably discussed between Mr. Kadri.
Let's cut it short. Were you taking a share of the tips?
I decided to don't take it.
And what was put in its place was it suggested to you there would be a bonus scheme. Do you remember discussions about that?
No, it has never been like this.
And instead of the bonus scheme, which they hadn't devised at the time, they said you could have the 0.5% management fee.
The 0.5% that we discussed with Mr. Kadri during our November meetings had nothing to do at all with tips.
All right, so there's a difference between us, but that's at least a benefit that you received, again, because of the employment in the new venture?
I thought that as Mr. Cadre had the possibility to have a 2%.
It's a yes or no, Mr. Rella.
Yes, that's what we need.
And you said the discussions with Mr. Chadwick, there was a very lengthy meeting at the Capital Club, wasn't there?
Lengthy, sorry if I don't understand, but we had that lunch in Capital Club.
And it was about 3.5 hours,
I cannot say so long. Sorry if I didn't count that, but I'm sure it was not so long. Okay.
And he says that you went through all the clauses of the shareholder agreement that you had a problem with, and in particular, clause 3.9, which we dealt with yesterday.
We didn't discuss the fact that at all, the 3.9, and we didn't go through all the agreement. You will have need probably hours and hours, not hours, days, to discuss the full agreement and details.
Now, let's move on to the new alcohol policy, and that was page 339 that we looked at yesterday, my lord, in bundle 2. The final bold text says the following was unanimously agreed between partners. And you accepted yesterday that this was an email that you received and you were at a meeting.
Yes, there's been an email sent it to myself and to all the senior involved.
And point 8 over the page.
Please, Council.
There was recorded there that there was a concern that the alcohol licence might be lost because a manager or employee got caught drinking on duty or after duty.
That's what is mentioned in the mail, yes.
And it was agreed there'd be no more alcohol drinking by any manager working in Roberto's, including no daily drink with the duty meal, which was the specific carve-out, so the specific matter that you referred to in the previous policy.
Yes.
And it says no exception to this, and the manager in charge each night would enforce this policy decision without exception.
Yes, that's what is mentioned on the...
And you say in your witness statement, paragraph 146, it's page 234 of bundle A. If I can just read it.
Please.
We also discussed having a weekly meeting for all the managers so we could raise and discuss any issues. Then we discussed the staff drinking could have on an alcohol licence. We all agreed that drinking during operating hours or after operating hours would not put the licence in jeopardy.
Yes, it's true.
It's absolutely ridiculous, Mr. Rella. We've got it in black and white in the email that you agreed to, that there was a risk to the licence.
Sorry if I may say so. Here there is an email. We didn't. I didn't write this email. Has been mentioned that we agree about to keep us a fixed rules to avoid incident inside. I didn't state myself these things. I agree with the point.
Let's just, again, let's just try and put this into some sort of logical framework. The email went out to you. It records that there's a danger. You didn't write back and say, that's not what we agreed, or that's not accurate. But you say, in the meeting, you all decided there was no risk at all.
We decided the risk to have incident inside the restaurant, mostly if it will have be caused by alcohol consumed, will have put at risk our alcohol license. Or we could have some fine or problem with the police or the city or the local authority. Personally, we had a policy before which one was authorizing us, if I'm not wrong, Consul Brown, to authorize alcohol so the fact that we were with Mr. Cowdery, we decided to authorize alcohol was supposedly mean that Mr. Cowdery and myself, we were not thinking that allowed senior manager or staff to have drink at our discretion would not have been an issue. If not, that we would not have created such a policy if we would have. If we would have thought from the beginning that people drinking would have put a risk, why Mr. Cowdery and myself, we should have signed an alcohol license where both of us, we can authorize drinking alcohol. In a sense, we accept that people can drink, and then we say that we jeopardize. So let's say we authorize drink until we didn't realize that serious accident happened, and we had to refrain everyone that determined to keep drinking during service because some person could have become aggressive and lose temper and control during service and mostly during service time and in front of the client. If this was the law, we would never have implemented the first alcohol policy at first. If that means that Mr. Cowdery and myself and who drafted for us, we were thinking to be above the law. And that was not the case.
I don't know who's got the phone on, but they should all be off rather than just on silence.
I direct that the telephone be taken out of court. There is a notice on the door which says turn telephones off. But if that isn't possible, then the telephone is to be taken out of court. And if it gets off again, I shall direct that the person whose possession it is taken out of court as well.
So, Mr. Rella,
Please.
I'm struggling to understand what you're telling me.
Waiting for this telephone to leave court. Do I understand nobody admits to having a telephone? Well, there has been a telephone getting off. Not your computer, is it?
It might be that one of the computers is not on mute, I don't know. It might be one of the computers isn't on mute. Sorry.
Well, we'll adjourn until either the telephone is removed or somebody identifies what is making this noise.
just don't want to just go for numbers if you don't mind. Sorry? It was in the effect, Council of Defence, page 223, and I was asking, do you know what fines belong there? That was all.
That's what it's not.
I was thinking before there's an equal test with the visa set now.
Yes, Mr. Cooper.
Can I continue? So, Mr. Rella, what you're saying is it's not the drinking of alcohol itself after hours the problem. It's the fact there could be an incident fighting between staff.
That's what has been the consequence that create.
It's not what it says on the email, is it?
They may happen for the specific case.
It happens for a specific case. But the problem identified in the email is people drinking on duty or after hours. Not fighting.
No doubt about that.
It's about the licence. Just tell me this. Are the licensing authorities in Dubai very liberal in the application of the law?
Liberal is not something that I can afford to state myself or to judge, but I think with the time that they've been flexible in certain extent of in certain area. As for my personal last 15 years in Dubai, between restaurant, bar and clubs.
And we can see it says that if you accept that the problem that Mr. Qadri saw, I don't mind what you think the problem was, if Mr. Qadri saw the problem was staff drinking after hours, which is what it says here, and that includes managers, and he saw that as a risk to the business.
The email was related to staff. Excuse me, Council. We're talking about an email speaking about staff drinking alcohol during service or after hour. Yes.
He was worried that might affect the license.
If something may happen, it will have tracked forcefully. Some authority will have created a big problem.
Not an incident happening. People drinking after hours.
After hours. Well, the email was caused for this, but after hours could have been a breach.
Yeah, and if the concern is that if an employee is drinking after hours, because that may attract the attention of the police, and that's a serious matter. It's no less serious and no less likely to attract the attention of the police if it's you who's doing the drinking after hours.
I think that this one is related to my person first, and to probably every person involved to extend extra hour courtesy to VIP client inside the restaurant and share a drink with them.
And I just want to explore your understanding of what is permitted.
Are you leaving paragraph 146?
Well, I'm going to come back to it in a moment. I just wanted to, I'll conclude on 146, then move on to what Mr. Rella's understanding of the appropriate.
Well, if you haven't left 146, it would assist me to know who the witness is referring to as we in 146. The difficulty is this. The difficulty I find is this, that if I read 146 in context, we seems to be Mr. RELLA don't have Mr. Chadwick, because that follows on from 145. But that doesn't make sense when you go on in 146 to find we all agreed.
Yes.
Because all will suggest something more than just Mr. RELLA and Mr. Chadwick. And if you can clear that up, Robert, this will save me doing so.
So, Mr. Rella, I think what you're referring to in 146 is to the meeting that preceded the December 6th email. So it's a discussion with you, Mr. Turgle, Mr. Mugavera, and Mr. Mustard.
Yeah, I agree with what I stated, Council, in 146.
So the we means all of you, not just you and Mr. Carter.
Everyone here involved, every person that would have been involved in such a thing would have put, mostly if they would be through an accident, would have put a jeopardy.
No, we're just trying to see who you're referring to when you say we. Are you saying that this paragraph refers to what took place in the meeting?
Yeah, we, all of us, me and all the management team.
Well, it doesn't help me very much unless I know who all the management are.
Have a look at the top of page 339. Are the recipients of the email the management team that you're referring to?
If I'm managing partner, Mr. Mustafa Turgul, and Reapat is part of the manager, yes. This is part of shareholder and management team. We are manager and shareholder at the same time. Mr. Moster is part of the management team, he's not partner of the ownership.
Yes, I'm just focusing on what you meant by the management team at the moment.
Yes.
So, on your understanding of what's permitted under the licensing, you accept that there are licensing hours?
There are licensing areas for the Dubai CIDRO, yes.
And I think you've come up with various ways of explaining why what you did was not a breach of those licensing hours.
I never say so.
You accept that you were drinking after 2 o'clock on numerous occasions, don't you?
I said that I was drinking after 2 o'clock, yes.
Sometimes until late in the morning.
Few times.
We'll go through the long list. And what you say is, first of all, guests were being served for free, and that therefore there wasn't a breach of the licensing because they weren't being sold alcohol.
We were never allowed to sell alcohol after 159.59. That was the last rule for closing the pit. You're not allowed, basically, to sell alcohol.
Yes, well, the Micros system got shut down at 2 o'clock, and that's why
Right.
there's no real record of what was consumed apart from the logbooks, which we'll come to later on.
That's what we had.
But, I mean, you're not suggesting, are you, that if somebody bought 3 bottles of wine before 2 o'clock, they could then consume them till 5 in the morning? Because they wouldn't be purchasing alcohol, they'd simply be drinking what they'd bought. Is that what you think is permitted?
That's what normally is allowed to do in our business. Yeah, if you purchase before, if you purchase a bottle of wine at 159, you will not ask the client to finish it by 2 years, and the courtesy.
So I could buy 10 bottles of wine at 159 and just sit there drinking till till you decide on?
This is as for, normally there should be a closing time for a club or restaurant. It can be 3 o'clock, for example, like we in our case. But sometimes my person and other senior, we were allowing the special VIP to remain until they were not finishing their drinks.
Mr. Rella, it's just ridiculous. It just drives a complete coach and horses through the licensing laws. If you can buy 10 drinks and spend whatever amount of time you want finishing them off.
As I say, Consul Brown, I take and I took my responsibility on that, as much as maybe some other people that allow to do that. As you can imagine, I will not be staying 24 hours a day in the restaurant. So.
And you say it's okay if they're VIPs or close friends?
Was okay. In my specific case, when it was up to me, when I was present, I was taking my responsibility to do so.
Have you had people staying with you till 5 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
7 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, we had
8
it.
o'clock?
It happened.
That long from November. I know you say you can't remember whether you were drinking on each of those occasions, but it's probably more likely than, sorry, from January. It's probably more likely than not that you were drinking on each of those.
As I stated, Consul Brown, I didn't deny that I was indulged in drinking and indulging in drinking over the times. I just say that I was not alone, and sometimes I was surrounded by people, partner of my management team, and security as well.
Well, you keep referring in your whip statement to security. I mean, they're private security contractors. It's got nothing to do with them.
A security, let's say, a security that should secure that the place is evacuated at 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock will not himself sit and entertain the clients until 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, as for my personal opinion.
Well, I don't know what that means at all, but let's just go back to the question.
No, I understand you, Consul Brown. The fact is that probably you were not there or you couldn't see all the footages. But
I've seen the footage.
well, probably you couldn't recognize the person that maybe I could recognize.
Well, all I'm asking you is that you keep referring to the security people. They're private security. They're hired by the building owners. It's nothing to do with the police. Are you saying because the private security people didn't tell you to go home, what you did was permissible?
I say that if the DFC security were out there, there was also our security.
Are you saying because the private security people didn't tell you to go home, it was permitted?
Sorry, my Lord, may I specify something? When I refer to the security, I refer to DFC security and our internal security. Yes.
Who's in charge of internal security? Who's the manager who has complete control? It's you, isn't it?
As far as I hear from Mr. Kadri in my last meeting, it was found ridiculous that the security should report to me.
When you're in the restaurant, Mr. Kadri's not there, who else is head of the team?
That's why I brought to the attention Mr. Kadri, which I'm still... Me or any other senior manager on the restaurant, yes. Or shareholder, if I may use this word.
So the security aren't going to tell you that you're wrong, that you should go home, are they?
The security may advise that, I think, minimum expectation. But as I say, I took responsibility on that on myself. I'm not denying that.
And then as to the PAOLO security, they're a private security contractor, aren't they?
Yes.
They're not authorised to tell you what you can and can't do.
There's been an issue where one of our senior team, they tried to go inside the bar at 4 a.m. and has been stopped by DFC security saying it's 4 o'clock in the morning, we are not allowed to go in, and we're talking about a quite high caliber chef.
We're not talking about security
vote, we're going to close you down. That's not their power.
We are talking about a DFC security that stop a senior team of Roberto's to go inside the bar and serve himself. And that has been reported on the DFC book.
It's completely different to them walking into your place and saying you have to go home. They just wouldn't do it.
As I say, they stop people, refrain people, senior manager to go inside the bar and drink himself. Means that if they decide that there is something that is not right, they will act.
So you're telling the court that because the DIC security didn't tell you it was wrong, that it was permitted, and
I don't say so. I just say that nothing major happened except the fact that I overstay. I'm talking about my case and entertain the guest till overtime.
and not once have you identified a VIP, have you? You've not told us the name of any VIPs.
Well, we have the name of the VIP. We prefer to not disclose for ethical reason. As you say, we are in a country where certain people occupy certain position and religion where we prefer to not involve them.
And those times when you did stay late, you were driven home in a limo, weren't you?
Sorry, Councillor Brown.
The times when you stayed late,
Yes.
sort of 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, or 8, you were driven home in a limo, weren't you?
I was having a 6 drive. I had a driver that was driving my car.
I'm not criticising you. I wouldn't expect you to drive drunk, because then you would attract the attention of the police.
That's kind of you. Thank you.
But each of the occasions in the log that we've got, you were driven home in a limo.
I was driving home.
You were driven home in a limo.
Yeah, not in a limo. My own car.
Right, okay, well that's, I'm not sure there's any difference between us. You were driven home by somebody else in your car.
From a driver, yes. In the occasion that I was drinking, in an occasion I'm drinking, past or present, I always make sure that I'm driving my car home. And myself, of course.
And you say that the records of what was drunk that we've got in B3, you call that the bar logbook.
Yes.
So B2. You see the date on that logbook, can't you? It starts on the 7th of November.
Right. Well, I don't have the page, but I recall some of the pages. So, which 7 December, right? Right.
And it's right at the end of number 2. Page 340. Why does it only start on the 7th of December?
I didn't state anything, but having had the chance to read the statement of,
No, I don't want to know what.
I cannot know that.
You can't know that. So,
I can tell you it didn't start from 7th of December. We had already our way to control the drink of the team because it's something that I implemented since 2005, 2006, 2007. We had a way that our bartender were going with a captain order and make sign to every person or senior manager having a drink during the service in order to keep track of their drinking. I had also my first lounge manager when we opened that he had a book recording drinks. As you rightly say, I was not aware that a specific date was started because probably whoever decided was thinking that I should have been formal of it. I don't know why, as a managing partner, I should have known that one junior employee and one senior manager decide to implement this logbook starting this specific date.
Well, shall I tell you why?
Please, most welcome.
Once the zero tolerance email had gone out and the employees saw that you were still drinking after hours, they kept a record in case they were criticised.
Mr. Brown, where's the evidence where's the evidence as to who produced this document?
It's in it's in the statements of Sally, which is in A1. Paragraph 14.
Thank you. So this is SS14, is it?
Yes, which if you see, it's got in square brackets B2 343.
Is Mr. Tallis set to one giving evidence? Thank you.
Sorry, can you do that?
Yes, yes, of course. Yes, Councillor Brown.
Are you saying he's not telling the truth?
Who is not telling the truth? Mr. Sale. We are not thinking that. We just say that they start to show an official record when they've been already passed logbook. This is not the first logbook that we had inside Roberto's. We had it even.
He says this logbook was created because they were worried.
Mr. Sale joined us, maybe you will have the chance to see his employment. When he arrived, we were already open since 4 or 5 months.
I just want to know what you say about his evidence of paragraph 14. Do you say he's not telling the truth when he says this is a logbook created by the staff because they were worried?
I am always being worried that there was a big discrepancy, yes.
No. See, he said this was created specifically because they were worried.
He has the right to say so.
And you say it's true or not true?
Mr. Sale said
Are you saying Mr. Sally
he has the right and to say this. Yes.
No. I want to know now whether there's going to be a challenge to his evidence, whether you say he's not telling the truth.
About to have created the logbook.
Yes.
He created the logbook for the reason that he stated.
Yes. Okay. That's good.
I want to also have Councillor Brown, but of course I cannot tell him any allegation.
Mr. Brown, to ask the question, is Mr. Sale telling the truth, is ambiguous because there are actually two distinct questions. First, is he to be believed when he says he produced this logbook? And secondly, are the entries in the logbook correct? And I'm not sure whether both or either are challenged.
I haven't moved on to those two questions. I was just establishing whether it was a challenge for the reason for the logbook. But I was going to go back to the logbook itself and explore those matters.
And I'm not at all sure that I'm particularly concerned as to why he produced it. I am quite concerned to know whether it's accurate.
Why is important? Because, of course, the defendant has said, well, this is just the usual bar logbook that I put into place. And it's our case that this has nothing to do with the defendant. And that's of some significance in terms of the attitudes of regulations and what we think is acceptable and what's not. So let's go back to page 343, Mr. Rella. 343.
Yes, we are here. I'm not. It's not up to me to say. I don't know who's writing this. But the bartender probably behind the bar was the bartender that was serving these drinks.
Various bartenders.
Various bartenders. Probably the bartenders on duty.
Did it try to, when you were staying behind for drinks after 2, you'd ask for a bartender to be present?
There was always a guard, in any case, until the last guest was leaving the restaurant, also for cleaning reasons.
But also when you were there by yourself?
There was, when I was there by myself, normally there was a bartender attending.
I'm not expecting you to remember precisely what you drank on the 7th and 9th of December 2012, but would you agree broadly that the entries as the drinks are correct? Do you drink Red Label?
Maybe that I drink Red Label, yes, there is a...
Grey Goose?
I used to drink also Grey Goose.
And what else have we got? Kettle One, it's another premium vodka, isn't it?
Yes, right.
We go to 352, you've gone down a bit, you've gone to Smirnoff.
Which page? 352?
352.
Yes, right there.
Do
Yes.
you drink Smirnoff?
Yes. As I say, I cannot recall the specific date, but it's very possible.
Yes. Because you said you expect at the time you're probably drinking about 2 to 2.5 bottles of vodka a week.
Right. More
As well as other drinks.
right. I don't say all the time, but in the past period. In the last.
And in this log that it's recorded that there was the visit from the police that you and I discussed yesterday, the CID came and looked at the display. Do you want to have a quick look at page 344 just to jog your memory?
Right. Is here.
And you recall that incident, don't you? Because you told us about it yesterday.
I recall, but this statement is, as far as I recall, is not quite accurate because I've been reported when the CID came to visit. I was not in the restaurant. I didn't make the CID a person, but they told me that they came and to bring to my attention the fact, as I was the alcohol license in charge and my name was there, that the CID was not happy with the height of our wood panel, which was covering the alcohol. But they didn't come to, they didn't met me personally. There's been not a one-to-one with them during this night. But I came to know about this, that the CID came the night before and they say to the manager on duty, or the bartender, or that they were not happy with the wood panel and they would like it to completely hide the neck of the alcoholic.
Yes, but because one condition of the license is that you can't display on them.
Right, there's a condition for all the freestanding restaurants.
How much gas was there that was displaying the neck of the bottle? How, could you just see the top or the whole neck?
as you know, you have you have various size of bottle. You have bottle of Jägermeister, which one will be usually, or a certain type of grappa that can be usually hidden, and you can have a 1 liter Grey Goose or different Galliano that will have a longer neck. So certain will have come out and certain will remain hidden. So I cannot say, but there was probably a good 2, maybe a 1.5, 2 inches.
See, we rely on that to show that they take the license very seriously, and if they're going to get interested in whether the neck of a bottle is then they're certainly going to be interested in people drinking out of that.
I'm sure that they can take seriously all the things they want when it's about alcohol.
Mr. Brown, I'm not sure whether in this jurisdiction you're entitled to assume judicial knowledge that Red Label is a whiskey and that Grey Goose and Smirnoff for a vodka. But if you haven't got it in evidence somewhere else, you may need to either get it agreed as common ground or get it.
Mr. Danton, I will draw the schedule of agreed spirits and other alcoholic beverages, but certainly the witness has accepted the classification of the various drinks listed there, my lord. If we can't do it by primary, of course there is the possibility of site visit because the restaurant's only around the corner. Mr. Rella, can we just look at your fifth witness statement, which I think has gone in at 274.4?
Yes, I'm on the first page.
And 274.10 is the summary of the logs.
Yes.
Sorry, the CCTV, and it's the log version of CCTV.
Yeah, I had the chance to go through that. Yes.
We've dealt in broad terms with what may or may not be happening on each items, set the detailed memory. So it's just the times that are of interest. See on the first one, 7th of December. Sorry. First of December.
1st of December.
The old at the top comes in at 12:48, leaves at 7:30 in the morning.
Yes, Mr. Brown.
And you've seen the CCTV, and whatever else it shows arrival.
Yes.
It's time that we can see you sitting at the bar at various times and see you leaving through the door at the back.
Yes, yes, quite evident, yes.
2:34 on the 5th of December.
Yes.
And leave at 4:52.
Yes.
So you actually turned up in the bar after last orders. Yep.
After, yes.
Yes. Next one is on 274.11.
Yes.
3rd of January 2013.
Right.
Turn up at 10 to 1 and leave at 3:35.
Right, yes.
And then we can see from the other ones, 6th of January, 10 to 1 again, leave at 3:02.
157, right?
8th of January, 10 to 1 again, leave at 6 in the morning.
Yes, it's all mentioned here, right? Also.
10th of January, 2:30 till 7:30.
Yes.
And then we can see similar sort of patterns. I mean, there's quite a few, 7 in the mornings and even 5 to 9. we look at 274.14.
The one 9 o'clock I didn't see, but I saw one around 8 a.m. Will not change too much in any case.
No. And you were told by Kadri that there was CCTV of you and the times you were present and when you were drinking, weren't you, when you saw him at the suspension meeting in January?
Mr. Kadri told me that he saw a camera and that he described basically in which way I was drinking, yes. I recall this conversation.
And you didn't say that, first of all, you weren't drinking, did you?
I didn't deny that.
No. Good. And you didn't ask for the CCTV yourself, did you?
Not at this stage. We were just having was a sudden meeting coming up with an issue and we were just talking.
And for the period that you were suspended, you didn't ask for the CCTV, did you?
I asked for other things, but not for the CCTV that I recall.
In fact, the first thing that you said to Mr. Kadri, pretty much, was that you said to him, who told you this? When he said, we've got evidence you've been drinking late in the morning.
When he should have told me this, sorry?
When you saw him at the suspension meeting,
Yes.
he said, we've got evidence you've been drinking. You said, who told you that?
I cannot recall such an answer. Who told you that?
And what then happened? You say that Mr. Kadri said he was going to suspend you. We agree on that, don't we?
Mr. Kadri told me, yes, that I had to be suspended for a period of rehabilitation, if we can call it like that, yes.
And he gave you the letter on page 426. That's in P3.
Even without having the letter, I can answer to you anyway. Yes, you can go ahead with that. He showed me, I would like to specify, he showed me a page where I assume I saw the signature of various signatures, which one has been told me that they were the one of Mustafa Al-Pregan and Mr. Kadri.
Are you talking about the suspension resolution rather than the letter? Have a look at 426.
I was not aware that there were two letters. But, I don't need to go there. I recall very well. Yes, of course. Yes, Consul.
So he gave you that letter, and over the page, not touching the signature, but you did sign it to acknowledge receipt.
I acknowledge the receipt.
Yeah.
I did not read the letter.
And there was then an investigation by Mr. Mostert, and he interviewed various members of staff.
Sorry, Consul Brown. I just in the following page 428, I saw the board resolution. Exactly. This is the letter. I didn't read both of them, but this is the letter that has been shown to me by Mr. Kadri to show me that already there's been signature of Andrea and Mustafa, or Mr. Turgur, Mr. Mugadoro, and me, and Justin, of course, was present in this meeting, and as we were talking about taking care about my health and rehabilitation in order to have me back in my best way, I would never have thought, when I saw the signature of Mustafa and Andrea, I thought they would never have signed something that could potentially cut me out, but they would have signed probably something that is for my good.
Well, two points arising from what you just said. The first is this. Nobody said the suspension was to see whether you could be rehabilitated. You're simply suspended while there was an investigation.
Never hear that.
And if you look at the letter, it doesn't say that you're being suspended for rehabilitation. It says we're investigating and we'll consider the position in the future.
I never read this letter, and I made the request of this letter several times, and never been shown to me. And Mr. Moster is witness of that, but I don't want to assume that will testify against his employer.
He said he doesn't mention anything about it.
Even in his statement, he doesn't mention, he read it, he's saying he signed it. At least he's true in his statement. Mr. Moster say he signed the letter. But at the end of the day, I signed it, yes. But I never read it. And I never been told about investigation. Never.
All I'm saying is that it doesn't say anything about a period of rehabilitation, does it?
Yes, we were talking basically. I never read the letter, so I don't know. Yeah, I read it before. Yes, there is. Say completely the opposite.
Exactly. And what was discussed was not that you'd have a period of rehabilitation, but Mr. Cardry said you needed to have some medical help, and he would help you with that.
Medical help, probably that would have followed by a period of rehabilitation. I agree with you. The word.
Well, we're not agreeing at all. He simply said you need to have some medical help, whatever happens.
That was his opinion at the moment, and I stick with that. Why I didn't want to disappoint him more. I think I crossed a certain line. And
That's what troubles me. You said throughout that you did nothing wrong in all of this, so what's the line that you crossed?
no, I say that I didn't deny to have drink over the limited time, so that means that I for sure did something not right. If I say that I crossed the line, when I say cross the line, I pass the line.
Well, you never admitted that before.
I told you before,
There's excuses as to why what you did wasn't.
I stated and I even wrote it. And I wrote it even in various emails, saying no.
I've seen an email where you say
I think,
you accept responsibility for
yes,
what you've done.
yes, of course.
Well, that means there's something you did wrong. But your witness statement, I mean, it troubles me. When did you first hear the word locking?
Beg your pardon?
When did you first hear the word locking?
Locking for the bar is a terminology.
It's one that you've heard before.
Yes.
It's not one that your solicitors suggested to you.
What, the 7th of December?
In your witness statement. But your witness statement reads very well compared to the impression that you want to give us that you can't speak English very well and can't write very well.
I just say that I stay until I thought was possible to stay, and certain night I overindulge and I stay longer, entertaining sometimes VIP guests, sometimes friends.
Well, quite a lot from what we can see. I mean, this is just a snapshot. It was happening before December and January, wasn't it?
It's happened
All the time.
No, it's happened. It could have happened all the time, but I specify also in my statement, and mostly in the last 2 months, I start to exaggerate in my drinking.
But I mean, it's not really the amount that's the trouble. It's the fact that
Yes, not the amount, what you can drink. I agree with you.
that's all. And you're now accepting responsibility for that and accepting it was wrong. But we've got these elaborate explanations in your witness statement as to why it wasn't wrong. Is that because somebody else suggested to you these reasons as to why it wasn't wrong?
As I say, to go over the line, of the 3, 4, 5 o'clock is a risk that you take, and you know very well. I felt confident, as I was partially over, and there was my name there, that nothing major may happen on first instance. And as far as I know, nothing happened. That doesn't mean that I disagree with the fact that staying until this time is not a good thing, not for the restaurant, first of all, and not for my person as well.
Not because you're the licensee.
Yes, but let's say it's also something that can happen yourself.
And you realised that Mr. Cardry was disappointed with you, didn't you?
Yes, of course.
And he did want to help you because he thought that you were slightly out of control, and that's something you acknowledge in the medical reports.
In the meeting that you mentioned, on the suspension meeting, this the a feeling that I had.
But the fact that he wanted to help you because of the personal relationship didn't mean that he agreed that this was new to rehabilitation.
Well, I would not even like to call it rehabilitation because probably I will not need rehab. It's a word that has been used, maybe speculated.
I missed that. You don't need rehab, sorry.
Yes. Basically, I was thinking that I overindulge in a period of rest maybe will have helped and to put my... Huh? Yeah, but to put a bit of self-discipline on myself and, cut a little bit certain use and abuse.
But when you get healthier, it doesn't alter the fact that you breached the sense of the license on a number of occasions.
I was there in this moment.
Yeah. See, they're two different licenses. And it's only today that you said you accept that you breached the license.
I breached the license.
You never said that before today.
I say I took my responsibility and I went over. I could have breached an internal license. I've never been accused by any authority or anything to have done anything like that.
No. And you also breached the internal rules, didn't you? Page 3.
I may have done, yes.
And you see, the lack of any insight into what you've done is a factor that Mr. Carvey took into account.
He took in account what he wanted to take in account. When was the moment to take it in account? But was not what we talked about on the 26th of January. I would like to add, my Lord, that in the same day, and I stated already, when I asked what was the option if I would not have accepted medical support, I've been saying I don't have other choice than terminatio, which one may have been right or not, but was not giving also many options. As I was not called it in this meeting for this specific subject. Basically, it's supposed to be a meeting talking about business and future development of the restaurant, and for the new year, basically coming.
My Lord, I don't know what time you wanted the stenographer's break. I've just got...
Well, when it's convenient, I mean, we will have a 10-minute break some stage in the next quarter of an hour or so, but when it's convenient.
If I just finish off...
Are you leaving 426, 427?
My Lord, yes.
Mr. Rello, can you just look at 427?
Yes, my Lord.
In bundle B3.
427, yes.
Yeah. You see above your name there is what appears to be a signature, or possibly two signatures, and immediately above that you see the words, I, Roberto Rello, have read and understood the terms of my suspension and agree to adhere to them and cooperate. As I understand your evidence today, the statement that you've read and understood the terms of your suspension is said to be untrue. Is that right?
Honestly, my lord, as I say to the Consul Brown as well, I was just having a conversation with Mr. Kadri. The things went, of course, when you don't expect
The
something.
question is actually quite a short one. Am I right to think that the evidence that you give to me today is that the statement on page 427 is untrue?
On 427, the 427, I can only say that I didn't read the suspension letter. We didn't go through this point at all. I just decide, I say what I have to sign. We were talking about medical help for my best, and I sign on full faith, even because I was excited. I was agitated by the moment.
I want to be sure I haven't misunderstood your evidence.
Thank you, my lord, yes.
The statement on page 427 is that you have read the document. Your evidence today, I think, is that you hadn't read it.
Yes.
So one or other of those statements must be untrue. And my understanding is that your evidence is that the first one is untrue. Is that right? In other words, it's not true that you read and understood the terms, although you signed this document.
Right. I know I made a mistake, and unfortunately it's not been my first one, and keep doing this, but I just sign it without, I sign it, if I may use this word, blindly. At this stage I had no other choice, because I recognized that there was something wrong, that to respect what Mr. Kadri decided for me. All the other things would have just harmed me more, or I was not even thinking there were so many allegations against me, and I never hear about investigation except for medical help. This is what I can tell you honestly that has been basically discussed. And the evidence that Mr. Kadri had that I was...
Mr. Rella, I'm not asking you why you signed something that was untrue. That's for your counsel or Mr. Brown if they want to investigate you. All I'm concerned is to ensure that I have understood what your evidence is. And I think I have. Yes, Mr. Brown, if you want to finish off the topic, that's fine. If it's more convenient to rise now, I'll do that.
My lord, if we rise now then till about 11:30.
We'll have a break. And so we get 25 past 11. How are we doing for timing? We're going to get through the witnesses. These are the defendant's witnesses today.
My lord, I think I'm not going to be too much longer with Mr. Rella. We've made quite quicker progress today than yesterday.
I'm not speaking to Hasnu. I just want to know what time scale we're looking at.
We think that we're of course because I don't know the rest of his witnesses, but I need a full day of this Chadwick and less than half a day with the other witnesses. So Mike Malone Fred on more time.
So you will want to start Mr. Kadri today, if you
I
can.
was hoping to, yes. If I don't, I think we'll be in trouble.
Well, I think I'll be quick with the doctor.
Some of our doctor is going tomorrow for cost reasons. So he's come from a local physician for a short notice as opposed to Ms. Julian in the message. She was going to come this morning. She's flying to Dubai specifically to give evidence on this case. She arrived at 5 a.m. without sleeping and was asked that she give evidence tomorrow. I said that that's fine because she didn't feel well enough to do it today. So I interposed her as well. So in terms of timetable, after the RELLA, we then have Mr. Castro who is
I don't need to trouble you with the details. I just want to know whether we need to adjust our sitting hours. But we are expecting Mr. Ruggieri at 7 o'clock or 7:30?
7:30, I'm afraid it does have to be 7:30.
7:30. So you have a long afternoon if you need it. It seems. We'll sit again at 11:30. understand actually, because I mean, you know, you yourself.
That's why I said.
That's what I was trying to tell you about. All rise.
Mr. Rella, if you just look at page 439 to 441, I realised I didn't see these at the time.
Yes, come to the page, Councillor.
But the evidence from our side is that Mr. Mostert went and interviewed members of staff and asked them about what's been going on. We can see we've got the bartender.
Yes, used to be, yes. I mean, he's still a bartender, but not in the same, not in our venue.
Okay, we've got the new one.
Yes.
440.
Yes, new one is our bartender still.
Yeah. And Sally on 441.
Yes.
And then there's a later one, page 465. And
The one dated 24 February on top, right?
and that's Mr. Gagliari, who's the bar manager.
The lounge manager and assistant operation manager of the restaurant. Yes. Used to be also.
And that's the sort of thing that you were told would happen. You said they were going to investigate and take statements from staff in the suspension meeting.
No,
You did right to say.
no. I came to know about this investigation from the bartender themselves when they were in their way to the Skelmore office to be questioned. And they told me this before while they were on their way because they finding something they were not. They find something strange. Oh.
But you don't say it's wrong for Mr. Moffat to interview the staff to see what was going on, just to get the picture, no?
It is is in the right of the company, of the owner, to check that, yes.
But it's responsible, isn't it? Because they're trying to find out from people what everyone's view was, rather than just yours or just Mr. Mugabaro or just Mr. Carter's.
Right.
And I don't think you were aware of the steps that were taken immediately after your suspension. If you look at page 429,
Yes.
let me just read through that email, because you probably haven't seen that.
No, it has been sent to me as well. I was still in copy. I was suspended. Yeah, I was suspended, but a few hours later, Mr. Kadri sent across a new, we may say, a reminder or enforcing the 6th December reminder.
And do you think that's a genuine email, that he was genuinely concerned about enforcing the 6th of December email?
Well, I'm not in Mr. Kadri inside, but I'm for sure an email like this is for the interest of the House.
Yeah. See, your case is that dismissing you for breach of the licensing provisions, breach of the licensing hours, there's no reason, it's not a real reason for dismissal.
Yeah, sorry, are you asking me that?
Yeah, that's your case is that Mr. Carter didn't really think he was dismissing you because you breached the licensing provisions. That's what you're saying.
Of course. I didn't. Was not what we were talking about. We were partners at the same time. I was not only an employee. We were partners at the same time. We built something. It was my name outside. I thought that he wanted to give me a kind of severe elderly brother lesson or message in a way that has nothing was happened, thanks God, in a way that it will not have been repeated after that. That was even included in the uncle policy. When you send someone in suspension for medical, you give them the possibility to return and you follow up if there is something that can go wrong. And then, yes, if from health we went to trust, then this has been, Mr. Carter was the owner and the investor of the restaurant. He took the decision for me not to be unfair. That is my point. That's what I mean.
What we've got, Mr. Rella, is concerns in Christmas and before then about breach of the licence provisions and the consequences of the business, and you accept they were genuine?
I accept what I did it.
No. We've got the 6th of December email.
Yes.
That there were concerns for the business if people breached the licence.
If people breach the license.
Yeah. We've got concerns after your suspension that people must obey the licence.
It's quite clear.
And they're genuine because there's a fear for the business. Losing the licence would be a catastrophe.
Well, we can only imagine, of course.
And what we've got in between then is your conduct, which you now admit, that breached the terms of the licence and the terms of the emails.
As I say, I went over the line, so sort of breach.
And yet you say the reason given by Mr. Cardre for your dismissal, which is putting those three things together, is false.
The reason that has been, I just say what happened in the room during the meeting of the 26th of January.
Let's set the rehab issue aside.
You probably have done that yourself. Why do you say it's false for him to say, here's the licence, here's the email before, here's the email after, and here's your conduct, which you don't deny?
Yes, but we didn't specifically want to talk about that. We talk about my problem that having alcohol. Yes.
You now, why do you say his reason for termination is not a true one in those circumstances?
That will be proven during the course, I think, of this trial.
I want to hear from you why you say.
Because we think that if this rule is considered a clean rule, 100% rule, what's applied to a person should be applied to every person. I hope you will agree with me.
Well, not really, because you were in charge of applying the rules. So if other people breached it while you were the senior person on the shift, I don't think that's a defence for you.
Well, I don't need to defend myself, but as I say, I'm not the security of anyone inside the restaurant. I don't have I've been also absent for quite some period for, as you know, medical from my medical history for some reason. So I have my day off. I could have had my holiday. I'm not always responsible for what they have. So
Mr. Cadre was an absent partner for most of the time, wasn't he? Flying around the world.
most of the time, sometime in, sometime out, yes.
You were
So
the
means
person-
I was the person, but I had the other person delegate with me. It was a chain of command.
But you were the person who was, you brought, sorry, you brought two people with you, and they were the next two senior. You're not saying that Mr. Mostert was drinking after hours, but are you?
I never say that.
No. I think you do say that Mr. Cadre drank after hours.
Yeah, there is possibility. After hours means he could have stayed, sometime could have stayed with us after a busy Thursday, and maybe we were drinking across 1:45 and over 2:02. Maybe we were drinking a glass of wine or two with us.
Yeah, so
Or
maybe he finished off,
entertaining, yes. So,
which you said is within minutes you finish off.
yes, that means he was always drinking. I didn't accuse him or blame him for it. This is his choice. He's the owner. He can drink what he wants. As
Well, there is one.
other senior may have done though. So.
Again, there's one thing in your witness statement which I'm sure isn't your idea. Let's just test it. You say Mr. Cadre was drinking during working hours.
During working hours. Well, I may say during restaurant working hours.
What's Mr. Cadre's working hours?
Mr. Catherine, as executive manager of the day-to-day management, he had the possibility to sit and entertain his clients and enjoy his wine and everything.
It doesn't have working hours, does it?
Huh?
It doesn't have working hours.
As normally I didn't supposed to have.
Well, you do in the contract. He doesn't have a contract as an employee, does he?
Well, I don't think he needs.
So it just shows what ridiculous things you're prepared to say, what silly defences you put forward when you try to excuse your conduct.
I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just thinking what was happening. I'm not accusing.
Well, you are, you see, because you've made a statement that says, first of all, Mr. Cadre drank after hours, and that showed that what you did was all right. And secondly, he drank during working hours, which we he didn't have.
The fact that I stated this and you transform it like is an accusation is, I think, maybe it's coming from your side.
There's a statement of fact. You're not saying there's no business.
239172.
This bundle A.
Operating
Which bundle is it?
sorry,
A239, page 172. Well, look, it says operating hours. The impression we got was supposed to suggest it's other members of management who are employed with Mr. Cartry. He can't drink during operating hours. And therefore, there's something wrong that's done by Mr. Cartry.
No, I'm just saying I've seen. We were like family. Everyone was respecting that.
Well,
Thought I was a partner.
it's not correct. This is part of the elaborate explanation to say what you were doing wasn't wrong.
We're talking about my.
What's wrong with Mr. Cartry drinking during operating hours?
I just say I've seen him and other senior team of the staff. There is nothing wrong. I'm just stating that I was seeing that. I may have the same possibility as even as a minority shareholder, as a small partner, I may have it, but I never drank during the same time. I had my time after, let's say, after time, when it was because at the end of the service.
You're linking him with other members of management who are employed, aren't you?
They're employees, they're a shareholder, they're a senior manager.
So that's just a silly thing to say.
Well, you use this word silly, but I'm just saying about I've seen it.
It's fanciful. What if he's eating dinner in the restaurant? He can have a drink, can't he?
I just did what I
Is that what you're referring to?
I refer that I've seen. Yes, I'm not mentioning that they were doing something illegal, or that was not possible to do it. We were doing this together, as I mentioned to you before. We were using to sit and relax together after a Thursday night like a family. Mr. Carey with myself, the other shareholder and partner, was quite something that we know and we were doing together. There's never been an issue about that.
Well, that's fine. If you're saying that there's nothing wrong with Mr. Cardry having a drink during the operating hours, then there won't be any cross-examination of him on that basis, because there's nothing wrong with it.
I don't know how Mr. Carey will be cross-examined.
Well, if you say there's nothing wrong with it, then it can't be something that it can't be a criticism of him.
It's not up to me.
It is up to you. I'm asking you what you're saying.
I think you read my statement, 3 lines, and I don't need to add anything else.
Well, you do. I want to know what your case is. Is it your case that Mr. Cardry can't drink during operating hours?
It's up to him.
And is it your case that in some way justified your conduct?
I'm not saying this to justify my conduct.
And you also say that you had a conversation with Mr. Mostert where he said, Roberto's isn't Roberto's without Roberto.
Yes.
He simply doesn't have any recollection of that conversation, and he doesn't believe he had anything even remotely similar to that with you.
I cannot obligate him to say what he doesn't remember or doesn't want to remember. This is my full recollection.
Before we look at some of the medical evidence, I just want to look at 1 or 2 more letters. One is page 469.
Yes, please.
This is an email from you, and I think the date's obscure, but I think it's 7th of March.
Yes, 7th of March. For what I can read, it's obscure, but it's dated 7th of March, yes.
to look at the third paragraph down, which is where you say, I must also accept to take big part of this responsibility on my shoulder caused by specific delicate moments of stress and body weakness.
Right.
And so you start there to accept that you've done something wrong, but that's something you later step back from in the but you then propose at the bottom about how you can come back.
Yes.
And one of the things you suggest over the page, just by the first of the hole punches,
Yes.
is that you'll be more present over lunch, daytime periods of rush hour, and for a first good period. And that's because you haven't been attending the lunch period that often, have you?
Right.
And you also say that the second hole punch just above it, having our security in charge to advise and report to my person immediately if there could be any spotted situation that may create.
Yes.
So that's your internal security, but that's only in relation to the possibility of incident, isn't it?
Possibility of an incident, or as we may use to say, prevent an incident.
Now I want to move on to the medical evidence. I'm not going to take you through the various warning letters that have been issued since you dismissed the staff of breach of the alcohol policy. That's a matter for putting to.
The warning letter for the staff.
Yeah, you weren't present. You've probably seen them.
No, I've not seen them, but I hear about that.
Yes.
Sadly. Which page?
So let's just deal with the medical evidence with the preliminary. You spoke to Mr. Carberry at a suspension meeting. He said, we need to get you some help, and he knew Mr. Dr. Sheffield.
Yes. I also had the chance to make this.
And you and he actually attended Dr. Sheffield's go.
Right, yes.
And one stage you expressed concern you didn't think Dr. Sheffield was acting in your best interest.
Well, let's say I start to have some doubt, yes.
Yes. And Mr. Carberry said, well, if you want somebody different, we'll find somebody different.
Well, this has been said with Mr. Kadri told me this before. If you would like to have someone else, after we didn't have communication at all. When we start with Dr. Shafi, after this, the communication between myself and Mr. Kadri has been almost cut, or completely, until our next meeting. So that was an option that I have been given before I met the first time Dr. Shafi. I mean, he told me, if you like to see another doctor, you say, why not? This is also a doctor you know very well, so we will make sure that you are updated properly, and that I will not, someone that you may trust as well, as a person, that I mean, may have trust. My intention was to give the possibility for him to have all the best details in the clearest and most transparent way. And for sure, a friend of Mr. Kadri for many years would have been probably an expert, probably, would have helped.
And you saw 3 doctors in this period, at least. We've got Dr. Shafi, Dr. Tahir,
Yes.
and Dr. Hassan.
Yes, plus I had to call my neurologist, but just the first time. Yeah, I had some just conversation. Yes.
The first report from Dr. Shafi is at page 461 to 462 in B3.
461, sorry, also.
461. said to him that you were attending AA meetings, and that's at 462, third paragraph.
Yeah, I've been recommended. I even didn't know about AA meeting existence in Dubai, but on my first meeting, when we went with Mr. Kadir and my wife together, Dr. Shafi recommended this group, and well, I approached them and I started to attend.
And the last letter from report from Dr. Shafi is page 519.
Yes.
And he records in the last paragraph, sorry, second to last paragraph at page 520, the problem is regarded, to say the least, because it's an addictive, recurrent condition and could recur.
Yes, this is a statement, or I don't know if it's I don't know if it can be called a statement. Is report. Let's call it report. Statement, probably something different.
And then you had another report from Dr. Tahir. Who's Dr. Tahir?
He's another psychiatric that I was attending because Dr. Shafi was quite a lot in traveling, but mostly at the beginning when he changed radically my medicine, and he had to leave for 10, 11 days for some summit around, and I had not his direct contact number. I suffered, he changed me medicine, withdrew me from a prescriptive drugs that I was using since 9 years radically, and changed it with another. He stopped me alcohol radically, and I went for 3-4 days. I was hallucinated. I was sleepless, but completely like a zombie. So I had to start to call some doctor and ask what's happened to me and why this medicine is acting to me as well. Because I couldn't reach the doctor, was out of the country, and the network is mobile. And they told me, Roberto, the medicine that has been given to you is for schizophrenic and for mental health people, and this is not your case. So we suggest you a non-professional psychiatric will have left without follow-up for 3 days, withdrawal syndrome from drugs, prescribed drugs and alcohol. Most of the first 3 days is the most dangerous stage. In UK, in the United States, you are obligated to be monitoring and sometimes obligated to stay 3 days in a clinic. In my case, I been left completely alone to what was supposed to be a good prescription.
Let's look at page 476, because that's Dr. Tahir's.
Yes, very good.
I don't know if you've read this, but I'm going to be fairly quick with it. It says at the top, he records you saying, I have ETOH, which is an ethanol problem, and mood symptoms. And he records that you were drinking and having anxiety attacks and had been doing heavily for many years. You see that?
Yes, I carry that.
And certainly the case is that you've made a number of insurance claims in relation to liver treatment.
Liver treatment?
Yeah.
I don't have many liver treatment. I never had.
No?
Not many.
All right. So he refers to...
I had some maybe cholesterol control or triglycerides, something that happened to many people in our business who not a very educated eating and drinking habit, but not liver. I saw the gastroenterologist just following Dr. Ali Shafi's recommendation. And was the first time after 1 or 2 years that someone was taking.
But he records that you told him you've been drinking heavily for many years. It's now affecting your business.
We're talking about my anxiety and my drinking habit.
Yeah. And
I'm sure you understand, I'm not dictating the word that a doctor or a specialist will write it down. There's no specific, yeah.
No offense if he says in drinking effort, in fact, maybe it's something, but it actually reported heavy and heavy.
I'll put it in certainly I read it in the context that Mr. Rella, you told him that you had been drinking heavily for many years, didn't you?
Heavily is, can be 4 glasses of wine, 2 vodka, can be heavily for drinking only 1 beer. We are not specifying here the amount.
We can certainly read it that he's recorded that that's the impression you got.
That's what I told him,
Okay, I'll see if he
not the impression.
And so we've got these 2 doctors who report the serious problem.
They report the problem.
And I can't remember, did you give Dr. Tahir's reports to Mr. Chadwick?
I can quite say yes.
And he certainly had access to Dr. Shaffi's reports as well, didn't he? The one that was looked at.
Undoubtedly.
Yes. And then that's all material that's relevant to the decision to
At the beginning, that's what's supposed to be. Mr. Kadri told me we have to wait first the final report of Dr. Ani Shafi.
Well, we disagree on that, but in any event, it was taken into account.
Well, that's what I hear, and that's what has been told on the 26th of January, my consul and my lord.
And then you were asked to attend the meeting on the 3rd of April,
Yeah, yes.
and we've got the letter at page 583. And
Yes.
you're told that you're being dismissed for the reasons set out in that letter, weren't you?
Yes. I'm being told yes.
And at 584, you wrote in the middle, at the same time, as seems like there are no longer conditions to continue our business together, I would appreciate to know if you have the intention to settle into my employment and partnership agreement in an amicable way, avoiding to both of us the unpleasant situation of legal actions and their consequences.
Yes.
So you accepted that there was no way forward at that stage, didn't you?
Unfortunately, yes.
And you didn't seek to dispute the evidence that's against you? Because we know now you couldn't have disputed it.
You mean in the same day?
Yeah.
Yeah. They have been a little disputed, and the finance manager, of course, always of Roberto's, and Anders Kelmor was witness there, Mr. Maesh, and he knows that I had quite a few words to say about these things. In fact, when they gave me the paper to sign, I didn't want it to sign, but Amin told me, no, just sign it because just to say that you receive it, not because you agree. And I hope I was trusting the right words.
Well, you didn't use the same form as words as you did on the suspension letter, which was that you understood and had read it and agreed. You simply signed it, as you said.
Yeah, exactly. We were in 2 completely different circumstances. One was opening the door, the other was closing the door.
Right, let's move on to something else. that's the medical expenses.
Yes.
You had medical cover at Hilton.
Yes, the neuron,
And
yes.
you wanted to continue with Roberto's.
Yeah, I suggested this.
Because practically, if you didn't, you'd have to reapply for cover, and because you had some medical history, it may have affected the premium or whatever.
It was not only for me. A big part of the people was coming from Beach Hilton, all the senior was part of it, and we always find ourselves very good. But as you know very well, it's not about the insurance, it's about the broker. The broker that has been selected by Skillmore was not the same broker that we had it in Hilton. And we can say that probably performance was different.
We can probably agree there are good practical reasons to continue the Hilton cover.
12 Neuron was Hilton, and all the people, the major people that were on board in this period, they were all former Hilton, including the shareholder.
We know that you had a problem with your back and neck.
Yeah, I had to go. Yeah, we may say so.
And you were ignoring the problem and not wanting to deal with it for good reasons in your own mind. But Mr. Carvey said to you, we need you to focus on this and sort it out, didn't he?
Ignoring the problem, Consul Brown, is not exactly this. As I mentioned in my statement, I went to several doctors, and on 3, 2, they told me, wait before surgery, try with physiotherapy. So before Mr. Kadri took in the hand, let's say like this, friendly or brotherly, whatever we can say, my situation, I had to attend at least 45, 49 sessions of physiotherapy in 2 different clinics. So it's not that I was underestimating the problem, I was just hoping that I will not have need to remove. Yeah, I'm sure that no one will have loved this time. Yeah. No surgery is welcome, mostly in that to remove you to this or the next one.
No, fairly common reaction in the circumstances, Mr. Rella.
Thank you.
It wasn't being dealt with, it was getting worse, and this father was concerned.
Yes.
Yeah. And
I was concerned as well.
yeah, of course you were, Pastor.
I was the one.
He tried to make you go down a particular route, which was to seek further advice. And
Yes.
yes.
Also, as is mentioned here, that he had a relative in the United States that is, I presume, an expert in this section. He sent my MRI, and we get some advice also from across the ocean.
And you had one examination at Mr. Kadri's home, didn't you?
Yeah. Yes, on a laptop with the American surgeon, Dr. David Roger. Yes.
Yeah. And we can see he put you in touch with Dr. Rogers, and you also had your insurance cover as well, didn't you?
Yeah, when I say so. A client and friend of Mr. Kadri introduced Dr. Roger during a party to Amin and Mr. Kadri, and of course came like a good coincidence, we may say. Also because he was well known for his expertise for the specific surgery.
And the first communication we got with Dr. Rogers and viewing page 270.
270, right? Yes.
To look at the bottom, you say, just like the second whole page, dear David, I need to set up the surgery no more than 2 weeks from now. The big bottom is spotted and things have got very
Yeah, getting close to the moral, yes. Yeah. That's what they told me, yes.
After such a big long decision, the 24th of July was represented with the initials of the new and better relieved beginning in my place and life, and not beginning everything from zero. It's the bit above, if you'll be able to assist without operate directly your second recommended neurosurgeon, I'm not going to cover some of your extra fee.
Yes.
So I think you knew that there was going to be some additional fees that your insurance couldn't cover, and you offered to make up the difference. Is that right?
Well, I put yes on the extra fee that the insurance will not have been able to cover. In this specific case, I already took the decision, and all of us, we were looking forward to go through that.
And then if you look at 271 to 272, you can see what was happening. He organised a hospital to operate on you.
Well, Dr. David.
Yes.
Right. It basically was the only hospital where he was allowed to surgery, because it was basically being his first surgery in UAE or in Dubai.
And your medical insurance would cover the hospital and the supporting medical staff. Is that right?
That's what came out, yes, after. I was not really following.
Dr. Davis, as we've seen, was going to be extra, and you said you would cover that extra on the previous page.
The extra fee.
Yeah.
You consider this one as extra fee?
Well, we looked at what you said a moment ago.
Well, when I refer about extra fee, I was thinking that you would have need to have, you would have more trouble in trying to get things sorted out fast. I said, I'm not mind to pay extra what probably I was decided already to pay. I'm sure that there was already an agreement before about his fee. I don't think this is the first time that we were talking or has been told with Amin about the cost.
We're not talking about you and me at the moment.
Yes.
See, what we're clear about is the insurance we're going to cover the hospital and the support staff.
Yes.
And there was some additional fees in relation to Dr. Davis.
Yeah, well, I will have got cost, not fee for me. Sorry, for me, fee was being some extra cost, but not the cost of the doctor.
And if we look at the top of 271,
Yes.
it sets out some of those fees. And what happened was the doctor said he wanted to be paid up front by Amex before he came over and did the operation.
Yes.
And because the insurance wasn't going to cover it, Mr. Kadri agreed that he would provide that funding by credit card.
Yes, was a choice. If he didn't give other choice, I think it was the only choice. I don't know if before there was stipulated another way of payment.
And is it right that he also paid in relation to the money that the insurance company was going to later pay?
You're talking about the difference?
Yeah, the other payment for the hospital and the additional support staff.
Yeah, normally the time that the insurance company, if I'm not recalling wrong, was taking a bit longer, and we had no other date for surgery. So I don't know if now Mr. Kadri or Roberto's of Skelmore had to advance the money. Yes.
If you look at 277, it's Roberto's, and you're right. The circumstances where it became urgent,
Yeah.
the insurance company was going to take too long, and the money was put forward by Roberto.
Has been put front, yes, from, I say, could have been Roberto's, Kelmore, Mr. Kadri. There was we had no other option. I've been postponed surgery for several times.
And go to 281.
Yeah, 281. I'm on the page, Muslim brothers.
Sorry, that's the wrong one. Yes, sorry, 280.
280. Yes.
The Neuron Group, which is the medical insurer, paid a scale of 92,180. Is that dollars or
In dirhams. Probably, yes, probably in dirhams.
And so you have two sets of payments made on your behalf.
By insurance, you mean.
Well, one by Roberto's or the reimbursers as scale one, and one by Chadwick personally.
Yes.
And they were made in that way because matters became urgent.
Yes.
So,
Not only for me, but also for the doctor himself, because he had limited time. He had to go.
he'd been booked in and
Exactly. Even the hospital and everything.
that's the reason the payments were made, because things were urgent.
Yes.
They weren't expressly gifts.
We had an insurance, so the insurance was supposed to cover
Both payments?
whatever would be able to cover was able to cover. The fee or cost or expense of Dr. David. I know that always had the sensation he will be covered as a friendly brother from Abincari.
Right, it was a sensation, not anything else.
No, we didn't put down any written agreement from my side or the other side. This has been my sensation.
Well, I think that's all. I just want to check if there's anything else. Just one more matter.
Please.
Page 595 of London 3. Well, I don't know how good your copy is of this.
Oh, no.
How, Mr. Rella, is yours legible?
Well, for me,
Can you read it?
well, I basically know the content of the letter, so I understand that it's not easy to read. Huh?
Well, I just want to check the judges is.
Yes,
all right.
maybe my Lord.
Well, 595 is not a letter, it's a scanned manuscript note.
Oh, yes. Certainly the one I've got is completely black and
Yeah, I think we have all the same.
but I've got
Well, look, I can read this. One, GO euros/year,
60.
60 euros/year, as 5 per month for 2 years, plus repatriation allowance, plus outstanding loan of a bank, AED 29,000.
Yes.
And then under that comes the words, above loans would be forgiven if you repay for 2 years as a personal support to you, to hold you, readjust,
Help you readjust.
help you readjust. Well, that's what I can read. And I don't know who wrote it or when it was written or anything.
It's Mr. Carter's writing, isn't it?
Yes.
And I think what the judge has read, you remember it and you describe it in your witness statements.
Yes, right.
In the same way. And he met with you to discuss that offer and said to you he still wanted to try and look after you, didn't he?
This is, sorry if I... You're asking me if what we are reading now is evidence or proof that is ready to help me or support me? That's what you're asking me?
Well, let's deal with it in stages.
Is this dealt with in a witness statement? And if so, what's the reference?
It's in Mr. RELLA's witness statement at bundle page 221.
This is his fourth witness statement.
Page 249, 227, 228. So Mr. RELLA,
Yes.
Sorry, which page?
249.
249. Yes, more questions.
Sorry, Mr. RELLA,
Please.
the offer that's recorded at 595 is the offer that was suggested to you by Mr. Cardri on the 23rd of April.
That's what you wrote in written there, yes.
And you disagreed, you didn't accept the offer. No. And they then asked you to sign a form in relation to shareholding,
Yes.
and you said you didn't want to.
I just asked if I have 30%, and they say, Mr. Justin will say like, yes, but, say, well, if I have 30% of the share, why I should give it away for free? But let me think about it.
Yeah, you said think about it, and they said okay, think about it.
Yeah, of course. I didn't even say that. As I was keep questioning, I mean, just say to Justin, leave it to Roberto, you can let him think about it, will come back to us.
And look at 592. Remember Mr. Mostert showing you that sheet?
Yes.
And at the top, it had the amounts that you owed to either Mr. Cardre or the company. And at the bottom, it had the amounts, the amounts taken into account. So we've got your 0.5% incentive for 2012. And what you were told was that, yes, it was due, but it was taken into account, yes, the amount you owed the company.
Yes, eh?
And we've also got there the rent, because your rent had been paid up front.
Of course, I had another one. Yeah, okay, an allowance.
Yes.
I have an allowance, of course. If I have an allowance, I have to pay in the way the landlord need to be paid.
Yes.
I cannot go monthly or.
If you left the company voluntarily, 6 months through, you'd have to repay the company the balance of the rent, wouldn't you?
No. But anyway, Council, my lord, I completely, first of all, was looking quite, not something you present to, your.
No, do the housing allowance first.
I disagree. If I have an allowance and it's mine and I pay for 1 year and it's under my name, the checks are under my name, are not under anyone else. The checks are under my name. So why have to move away? I do what I want. If I want 140,000 here allowance or 100,000 to pay my home and the check are under my name, I go right to stay in the house until my check is back. And the rent is higher.
The way that the rents are paid in July are that you do it a year in advance. Isn't that right?
Not obligatory, you can pay in 4 different checks, but yes, you pay 1 year in advance, then there is 2 checks, 3 checks, 4 checks. Yes.
And that allowance is to help you
Not to help me to have to allow was this allowance to have his place to stay, his house.
If you had your own house, you would be given a housing allowance, wouldn't you?
If I had my own house owned by me, I will have get an housing allowance or a different allowance anyway. It's part of a family status package.
Yeah, you say there'd be a different allowance, and it certainly wouldn't be as much as that if it's reflect what you're actually spending money on, isn't it?
But I never had a house and never thought about that.
No. It can't simply be given to you to spend as you like. It's got to be related to your accommodation. Otherwise, it just increases the basic salary.
Exactly that was for. That's why we had this check. That's why they were already tested to the landlord for all the year.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan.
Thank you.
That's all the cross-examination I've got.
My next witness is Mr.
Is there any re-examination?
So sorry. Very serious.
We don't need to re-examine it. Re-examine if we don't want to, but if we do want to, this is the time to do it.
I apologise. There was something else I was going to ask your lordship, and for you to take some instructions before I put the network. So witness and that for those who want it. I think Losh Lordships advised 5 minutes before I formed my next witness, and that was after those things I should not do. Mr. Reddy, you asked about the advice you took from Mr. Molinari at B1 and page 24. This one. Can you remember whether you paid a fee for this advice?
What's the name? I didn't pay for this advice.
You did.
I paid for the shareholder agreement. The one is mentioned that we share with Mustafa and Andrea.
Yes. And if you look at page 35,
Yes.
you said the reference was that some of this was cut and paste.
Yes, I recall, yes. The article point 4, article 13, article 15.
Now, just keep your finger in page 35.
Yes, please.
Look at page 35, but also look at page 24. Now, let me just point something out to you that can't be disputed. If you look at page 24, by the second whole page, you see the paragraph that starts, I know that equals 4.
Yes.
Now just look at the words that say, Roberto's restaurant is authorised pursuant to a licensing agreement, ... from Roberto's restaurant's holding. Do you see that?
Yes, right.
And then look at page 35.
Yes.
Underneath the words Article 4.0, the same words appear. Roberto's restaurant is authorised pursuant to a licensing agreement from ... from Roberto's restaurant's holding.
Yes.
You see that?
Yes, right.
Now that I pointed that out to you, can you give His Lordship any clue as to how you went about putting the contents of page 35 on the page?
Also, I would say that we probably put it together following the email of Ottavio Molinari, but as I say, I recognize here that it's not my style. I will not be able myself to create this Article 4.8 by myself, or Article 13 to underline this note. Or I've been helped by someone, or I copy and paste the important, these three points by a similar email probably sent by her. Yes, I don't have a precise recall of this. But I got to your point that there is a link.
Now, if you turn
Yes, right.
And you made reference to the reasons for it,
Yes.
and your challenge about that. And just look at page 339, if you would.
Yes, I'm on it.
And the first paragraph
Right.
says, thank you for your support and cooperation in addressing the problems associated with the incident of last Wednesday.
Yes.
And it can't be disputed the last Wednesday, which was the 28th of November 2012.
Yes.
And then if you go the second paragraph, then the third paragraph, it was agreed by you we should learn from this incident. Can you just tell his lordship what the incident was?
Exactly. Something that I didn't want to proceed with Consul Brown because there's nothing nice to me, but there's been an accident. I was not there, but there's been reported. There's been an official report that there's been some argument between, there was probably a present argument between our assistant manager, Yaya, and probably Chef Luke and Chef Andrea. As for the note and record that we had, looks like because of some specific reason there was not food or the food was not prepared for the staff at night. And Chef Andrea and Chef Luca, they were sitting and they were asking for their glass of wine or drinks. And Yaya refused them and gave order to all the other egg waiter to don't sell alcohol to Chef Andrea and Chef Luca. Could have been a form of retaliation. I don't know, because I was not there. And then looks like there been a big argument. There was still people in the restaurant. And Chef Luca and Yaya had to have physical contact in front of the restaurant.
What do you mean by physical contact?
We start to, as far as I know, I didn't watch that, but they didn't match the face, but they start to push each other in a quite evident way. And Chef Luca being also, let's say, 155 kgs with probably a white jacket is quite visible in the middle of our restaurant. So
Does this arise out of cross-examination, and how does it help me to have the witness's speculation about something that happened when it wasn't there?
Well, I think does rise as a cross-examination because it suggests specifically that the purpose of the consent policy had nothing to do with any incident. It had to do with drinking alcohol out of hours.
I don't think I went that far. It arose from an incident.
I don't think you did that.
We'll flash reference on shortly. I'll ask the question. In relation to how it can be proved,
What the witness is doing is telling you his speculation he wasn't there.
well, I can hear that. How do you know those facts?
I'm being told that by all the parties. I had to hear Luca Gagliardi, which was the lounge manager, and he was present, but he didn't want to interfere. I heard the side of Andrea, I heard the side of the head waiter and the staff in charge.
Now, could you look at your statement, paragraph 146?
Which witness statement?
I'm so sorry, your full statement, sorry.
Yes. I'm on page 234. Is this?
You were asked the words "we all agreed" in the third line, and then "we all agreed" in the fourth line. You were asked who the "we all agreed" were, and you said management team. Can you just give us what the names of the management team that you were referring to?
including myself, Mustafa Turgul, of course, Andrea as a shareholder and the priority, Luca Gagliardi as a lounge manager. Potentially, if it was the case, Lucas Fioretti, but was not always there, and the assistant manager at the time, Yaya and Wanda.
And then finally, on the big three, on page 42, documents at 426, I was asking you about 427.
Right. 427, right?
Yes.
Yes.
The letter starts at 426, or the document.
Right.
426 and 427. You said you signed this blind.
If I may use this word, yes.
Did you read any part of the document before you signed it?
None of them.
Did you read the words above your signature before you signed the document?
Honestly, no.
Well, no further question.
Mr. Ray, could you just put up a B3 and turn to page 591? It's a document which has on the top of it in manuscript D71.
Yes, my lord. I'm on Roberto's Led Limited.
I can't find a reference to it in your witness statement. It may be that your counsel can point you to the reference to it in your witness statement. But if you can't, perhaps you can tell me where it came from and what it's doing.
Yes. After.
Well, first of all, is it referred to in your witness statement?
No, my lord. I don't think it's stated. The specific page and section should be in my witness statement.
You don't think it is referred to in your witness statement?
Yeah. I know the reason why, and when I did it, I recall everything, but it's not in the witness statement.
Well, if you haven't given evidence about it, I'm in a position of not knowing what it's doing here. Are you able to tell me, Mr. Jones, what this
Apart from
document is?
reference, I only just looked, I haven't picked it up. Do you know what document it is, Mr.
Well, it comes in with a collection of documents, D73, D68, D67, all of which the witness does refer to. So, concerns what this one's doing.
And I'm told it may be the latest first document.
On the face of it, it seems to be a share certificate signed by him after he was dismissed.
It's in Mr. Rella's first statement.
First?
First statement, or at tab 26.
First statement.
And paragraph 5.
And I will ask him about it. Mr. Rella,
Yes, my lord.
This document is dated 23rd of April 2013.
Right.
And it
Right,
has
my
to be
lord.
signed only by you and not by Mr. Chadwick. What's this, how did this document come to be signed by you on the 23rd of April?
Yes, I recall exactly the situation. After my termination, the chair not only was sad, confused, and upset, but I was not really thinking to prosecute or go ahead with anything. I thought that was before the meeting where I've been asked to transfer the share. But I had an advice from just a common friend that is saying, Roberto, if you are a shareholder, Roberto in the LLC, you should have your share registered in the LLC register. So I went simply to the register with my passport and I asked to the Miss Khadija if I could have a copy, if still my share were, how much share, and if still my share were registered in the DFC. And of course, they charge you some fee, I remember $100 for each pay. Just I wanted to be sure I didn't know if I had something real concrete or not inside the DFC. And when I went to see this lady, she provided me this and she told me what is registered in the DFC cannot be changed by anyone. Except if it's not agreed with you, and no one should be able to touch your share if it's not with your approval. And when I realized that there was a legal, I been confirmed that there was a legal document given officially by the register of the SC, I realized that I had, for the first time, that I had in front of me what we register in the article association, the 30% was the first time I was having this paper in front of me. And so that helped me to understand that probably I had something in my head that would have helped me to why this happened to me in such a way, what was my value in the company and inside the FC, and if it would have helped me to do something that I would never thought to do before and even afforded personally my lawyer to proceed.
Well, in due course, I shall have to take a view as to whether this document on 591 is worth the paper it's written off. But that's your explanation. Have you ever seen a share register with this company?
Share register?
The register of members. I asked for it yesterday and I haven't had it yet. So I'm asking you if you've ever seen it.
I recall that you asked for it, but I don't recall to have seen the registration. We're supposed to have asked for one to bring to your attention, my lord, but until now I don't have it.
Thank you. Well, if anybody wishes to show me the share register or register of members of this company, I shall be grateful.
My Lord, we made attempts yesterday to get physical copies, but it's only available online, and it's very tricky to print off, but we'll continue to persevere. I mean, if necessary, we'll access it online on a laptop in front of you.
Doesn't the company maintain a register of members?
Sorry, Mr. Mostert's not here, so I'm not sure what the answer is to that, but I'll check over lunch.
You aren't able to tell me whether your client maintains a share of register of members?
Only because the relevant witnesses here. I suspect the answer is no, because it's dealt with online by the AIFC.
Well, the method should be then to obtain the visa online. What I'm faced with at the moment is a share certificate apparently issued entirely unilaterally by Mr. RELLA after he'd been dismissed. I don't know what reliance is placed on that document. I should be interested to hear. Thank you, Mr. RELLA.
Thank you, my lord.
Now, you want me to rise, Mr. Darcy?
Well, this is fine to what?
But I will rise and I'll sit again that I am concerned that the unreliability of the time estimates that have been given so far.
Well, I apologise to the extent that I've contributed to that, but the next witness will be 5-10 minutes at the most.
And I can sit at 1:45 if I need to. But unless you press me to do that, we'll sit at 2 o'clock.
My Lord, what time do you want to sit to tonight?
Well, I understand I have to sit until 7:30 to hear Mr. J.
I assume that there might be some sort of break, but
Well, probably will be some sort of break.
otherwise 5 o'clock, and then
Otherwise, I'm expecting that we'll catch up with the timetable and we'll sit as far as necessary to do that. Very well, we'll sit at 2 o'clock.